Did the mugshot of a former U.S. president, the first ever to be taken, did it destroy the Democrats' hopes in 2024? I believe it did. I really believe that mugshot, which has probably been seen around the entire world, it ended any hopes for a Democrat in 2024. People are starting to wake up and realize that the Biden DOJ is on a witch hunt. This is the fourth indictment for Donald Trump. They have nothing, as far as I'm concerned. They are basically trying to prosecute a former president so he cannot run against Joe Biden. This is a political attack on a political opponent, and Joe Biden knows it. Joe Biden knows he's a failure. He knows every policy he's ever put in place has failed. He knows Kamala Harris is an absolute disgrace to the American people. But they have nothing else. They need to keep Donald Trump out of the election, and they're doing everything in their power, in my view, to do that, to keep him from the ballot in 2024. Low-income people all had high hopes for Joe Biden, so the Democrats say. And Joe Biden once said, if you ain't black, you ain't for Joe Biden. Well, I got news for you, Joe. People are opening their eyes, especially the people who were there in Fulton County when Donald Trump was arriving to turn himself in and have that mugshot taken.
I'm here to support President Trump. You want to know why I'm here to support President Trump? Because they done did black men like this for decades. Make up charges and put them, so I know Trump is innocent. I support Trump against this corrupt, two-tiered justice system. That's why I'm here to show my support as a black man for Trump. And I'm wearing my shirt for Trump 2024, and I mean that.
What do you think about the indictment?
Oh, it's a bunch of bullshit. It's going around the country. You know, Fannie Willis, she went to school with my sister. She's full of shit then. So she's a puppet for the white liberal that is controlling everything. She's in front, but the white liberal back there pulling those strings, telling her what to do. That's what I think about her, making a fool of herself.
Do you think it's going to help his election?
Of course it is. It's going to elevate him all the way. I think we should make Trump king. That's how I feel. We should make him king.
Wouldn't that be kind of like communistic?
No, that's nowhere near communist. Now, we're just going to make him king, but we still got our freedoms and rights and everything. He for that. Yeah, Trump for king 2024.
That's actually my URL. I own that URL.
You own that URL?
Can I get your name?
Really? Oh, my name is for Trump 2024.
I can't
Derek
write that.
Gibson, former candidate.
I'm
a former candidate for New York State governor. I'm there. I live up to it too, boy. I can scrap too, but I can get down, boy. Not better, I can. I got a proven track record. You want to try me out? Try to take this shirt off. I'll give you some.
I need everybody off the roadway.
Sir,
I need everybody
take care of yourself, bro.
And that's just a few people. The streets were lined with people cheering on the motorcade, cheering on Trump as he came to turn himself in. The prosecutor there is nothing more than a puppet for the liberals. That man said it. I said it. She's the only one who made sure that Donald Trump had a mugshot taken. And this is because he claimed that the election was rigged and stolen in 2020. But if you recall, there have been other Democrats who continue to this day claim that they were robbed of an election by a rigged system, by voters not getting the correct ballots or whatever nonsense they were spewing, and nothing happened to them. No indictments, no investigations, no backlash. It was okay for a Democrat to say the election was stolen from them. And I speak of Stacey Abrams, who probably, as far as I know, still says and claims that she won the governor's election in Georgia 4 years ago. She came out on every media outlet she could get an interview on and said that election was stolen, that she won, but nothing ever happened because she's a Democrat, she's a woman, and she's black. But Donald Trump, being a white conservative man, it's bad for him to say the election was stolen. It's bad for him to say that the election was rigged. Well, no one really knows if it was stolen or not. But don't you have the right under the First Amendment to speak your mind and claim that the election was stolen? I think you do. But Stacey Abrams did it with no problem at all.
Her first national interview since ending the race is Stacey Abrams, the former minority leader of the Georgia State House. Leader Abrams, thanks so much for joining us. You said that, quote, democracy failed in Georgia. Obviously, you're referring to some of the messy process of democracy, as you called it, incompetence and mismanagement. But do you think that there was deliberate interference in the election?
Yes. And I believe it began 8 years ago with the systematic disenfranchisement of more than 1 million voters. It continued with the underfunding and disinvestment in polling places, in training, and in the management of the county delivery of services. And I think it had its pinnacle in this race. But a few months before, in May of 2018, a Republican primary had to be called for a do-over because a number of voters did not receive accurate ballots. We know that there has been a dramatic discrepancy in the way absentee ballots are both allocated and counted across the 159 counties. And so, yes, there was a deliberate and intentional disinvestment and, I think, destruction of the administration of elections in the state of Georgia.
And there you have it. It was okay for her to go on national TV and claim that the election was stolen or the election was rigged or whatever other nonsense she was spewing. I'm not going to repeat it because it's disgusting. A black woman can claim that she didn't win or that she won, but the election was taken from her. This is another point that the Democrats make where they don't want people to have to show IDs when they vote. They want anybody to be able to walk into a polling place, say a name, be given a ballot, and then go check off somebody. How is that okay? How is that even legal? Everyone should show an ID, prove that they're a resident of that area, and we all know people can get fake IDs. But my point is, they are trying to put Donald Trump in prison for the classified document scandal. Joe Biden had documents in his garage near his Corvette. Nothing happened. They're going to prosecute Trump on that. And the other two indictments, quite frankly, I don't even remember what they were for. But this fourth one is all about him claiming that the election was stolen. And him and a group of people have all been indicted. And whether what happens to them is really none of my concern. But trying to put someone in prison or prosecute them because they claimed that the election was stolen is outright wrong. And the Democrats preach democracy. That's not a democracy. Why can't you claim that an election was stolen? Why can't you claim that it was rigged? That's his belief. And under the First Amendment, we have the right to free speech, don't we? But the Democrats don't want that. So this, again, is nothing more than a political witch hunt by the Biden DOJ to prosecute Donald Trump and put him in prison. They want to get these trials up and running as soon as they can. And if they have their way in Georgia, that trial will start probably in October. So I don't know what's going to happen. And again, I don't know if the election was rigged. Who knows? Was it? Maybe. Maybe it wasn't. But for someone to be prosecuted for speaking their mind and speaking what they believe is absolutely wrong, especially in the United States of America, where elections should be free and fair, and everyone should show an ID when they walk into a polling place. But don't tell that to the Democrats because they call it racist. Kamala Harris once said people who live out in rural areas have trouble getting IDs, or she said some nonsense about they can't even have access to a copy machine, or Kamala Harris. So just take that with a grain of salt. This is an absolute attack on our democracy, and the Democrats preach they're against democracy. They're trying to take away democracy, the Republicans. No, the Democratic rule is do as we say, not as we do. And we're going to try to put you in prison because you're the main political opponent of a sitting president whose ratings are lower than any president in history. And everything the Biden administration preaches, everything they do, it's historic, it's historic. It's a historic failure. And low-income people to rich people are starting to see that Joe Biden is nothing more than a buffoon. He does not know what he's doing. He cannot turn this country around, but they're going to do everything in their power with the Department of Justice to make sure that Donald Trump is not the main opponent and is not the one running against Joe Biden in 2024. So we're going to sit back, we're going to wait and see what happens. Is he going to get convicted? Who knows? We have to wait and see. But it's a disgrace that we are seeing this in the United States of America. Just because you're a powerful political opponent, they want to make sure they stop you, and they will do everything in their power to do so, including 4 indictments, or who knows if there's going to be more. So it's just ridiculous, and I just had to bring it up because enough is enough. Let people go vote. Let them pick who they want and move on. No stealing elections, no hiding ballots, it's all nonsense. And the Democrats should be ashamed of themselves because they know this is nothing more than a witch hunt. And that's it. So thanks for tuning in. If you haven't liked this video, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and hit the notification bell. Share this video with someone. I'd appreciate that. Hope everybody's healthy and safe, and I'll see you soon.